All right, campers, welcome back. Aegis Defense, let's talk a little bit of the news. So, we've already been seeing the crackdown on investigation since August 1st on what's happening with the Somali community and the Medicaid scandal and everything else that's been happening in the state under Waltz's watch. And now Waltz has been pulled into the limelight with Trump calling him out big time on this, essentially saying, hey, since he has been in office to allow these scams to continue against the Minnesota taxpayer to the tune, Minnesota is the largest funder for a terrorist organization known as Al-Shabaab. We are the number one funder here in Minnesota, which is super messed up, okay? So these investigations are happening, and the removal of the temporary protected status for the Somali community, that's gone. And that was the asylum status that they were granted back in the 90s during the Somali civil war when their government has collapsed. Oh, and by the way, their government has never recovered, and they've been through several other governments in the process, and essentially Al-Shabaab runs the country at this point. They are a failed state. Now, the big thing that just came out that's happening as, well, one, we're already starting to see movement in Minnesota with ICE going through and beginning to arrest for deportation Somali immigrants, particularly those that are here illegally. But this is also calling into question those that are here because of all the fraud, those that are here under naturalization or even granted U.S. citizenship illegally, okay? Which, of course, everyone's going to really want to know, does that affect Ilhan Omar? Technically, it would, especially if she married her brother in a fraud to get him and herself, a status and getting citizenship in the U.S. Now, past that, though, the big thing that just came out is that Trump is giving a halt on all remittance payments coming out of the United States to foreign nations. Anything under $2,000 will be heavily scrutinized, stopped, and confiscated. That essentially it's absolutely going to be taken by the U.S. government. It is not going to be allowed to be sent overseas. And this is huge because Minnesota, as of right now, is also, and the United States in general, because we do have Somali communities outside Minnesota, just Minnesota is the biggest, is that the United States funds up to 25% of the GDP of Somalia through remittance payments. And that says a lot it says a lot about Somalia, okay? That you have to have a foreign nation fund 25% of your nation. But two, it also doesn't say a lot about them where it's like, that's what you have to rely on. Otherwise, like, your country does not function, okay? But again, all these funds, and now it's coming to light, and now this is opinion, I would dare say that probably the vast majority of these funds through remittance payments because of the tune of millions and millions of dollars, up to $399 million a year from the Medicaid scam. I would not be surprised if the majority of these funds in remittance payments are actually fraudulent funds from the Minnesota taxpayer as it is right now. And so that's where we're at. We're actually getting movement in Minnesota. So this is good news as far as cracking down on the fraud, waste, and abuse, particularly the fraud and abuse aspect. But this can't be ignored because whether you attribute to, and I always agree on this sentiment, never attribute to malice, which you can attribute to incompetence. However, because these frauds have been happening for so long under the watch of the, Dayton, before him, and Waltz's administration in Minnesota, that there had to have been a blind eye going all the way up through that administration to these, not just the remittance payments, but the Medicaid scams and the Feed the Future scandal, that people were getting kickbacks and getting money. They were lining their pockets with this. And so absolutely would not be surprised by this. I would bet money on it that it absolutely goes all the way to the top, this fraud and this scam against you, the taxpayers in Minnesota. So anyways, I just wanted to cover that real quick, big thing. So what is it? We're looking at remittance payments coming out of Minnesota and the rest of the nation going to foreign nations. If it's over $2,000, halted, stopped, it is confiscated by the federal government, and investigations are going to be happening, and we're already seeing deportation movement in the state of Minnesota. So, all right, guys, appreciate it. Hope everybody had a great holiday season. Hey, don't forget to get down into the comment section, pick up your Guard Tech Plus cleaning kits. We still got them on sale. You got your choice between, they're all 60-piece kits. 22 to 12 gauge is what this will clean, all the way from your mops to your brushes to your jags, and it's even got either a bore rope or an AR chamber brush. Actually, I actually thought the bore ropes would be more popular. It turns out the AR chamber brushes are the ones that are kind of going faster off the shelf, which is kind of surprising. But hey, that's actually the one I picked up because I go through the chamber brushes often from the training that we do. So I like that one personally. But they're both really good kits. All the pieces and parts are identical, except for you either get the bore rope or you get the chamber brush. So your choice on that. So that will be in the description below. Get that underneath your Christmas tree this year for that loved one in your life, right? So it's Mike with Aegis Defense. Remember, stay prepared, not scared. God bless and good night, everybody.